Alright, so we're about 13 days past February, and I didn't do this video yet, so here it is on my second channel. Today, we are going to do what I watched this month, and what did I pick up, what is my haul. Thing is, I've been going through a lot. Last week was pretty hard. I had a whole schedule plan. I stick with the schedule for Monday, and since then, it just kind of blew up. Not only was Tuesday and Wednesday extremely busy, well then Thursday, I woke up and I sat down to film my Creed 3 review, and then the GoPro just shorted out. It just quit working. And then so Friday, I had to do a quick Creed 3 review on like my phone and the way I did it, and now I have to record on my phone. And so, this was kind of a pretty long week for me. And so, that's what delayed this so much, because I plan on reviewing this so long ago. But I have several movies to talk about, several movies to show you. Before I do that, tell me down below, what did you guys pick up this month? What did you guys watch in the month of February? Did you see Cocaine Bear, Knock at the Cabin? I didn't. I did see Ant-Man. We will talk about that one. But I want to know down below, what did you guys watch and pick up? So this is my second channel, More ZMC, so go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell for more notifications. Go subscribe to my main channel, Zachary Movie Chat, because that is where I post all of my main content if you like more content like this. With that said, the month of February, we kicked off with the freaking crazy, messed up movie, Barbarian. Yes, that's right, I finally got around to watching Barbarian, something that I wanted to watch before I even did my 2022 ranking. I wanted to see that movie before then. But I never really got in the mood, to be honest, because I try not to force myself to get in the mood to watch movies. I always try to watch movies that I'm in the mood to, because if I try to force myself, then I won't have fun watching them. You know, movies are supposed to be meant to have fun. And when I got in the mood to watch it, the first thing I did was actually watch this movie. It's an easy 5-star movie. This movie is incredible, hands down one of the best movies I have possibly ever seen. It's fun, it's wacky, it's crazy. The whole premise is about this creature that's trying to be a mother to everybody. Like, what the frick? This movie is so messed up in the head. Not only that, but this movie is also genuinely scary. I slept with the lights on after watching this. That's how messed up, creepy this was. The entire cast here is hands down great. The entire vibe here is hands down perfect. This movie is just a heck of a horror film. Top 10 of last year. Top 10 of maybe even horror movies, because this movie is just hands down nuts, hands down scary. I love that it exists. It's such a good movie. Right after that, the next night, I actually watched X-Men First Class. And to be honest here, I am not a fan of origin stories. I would much rather watch something while it's in the middle of its run, either it's a movie or a TV show, than watch the setup of something. Because I love seeing character arcs, more action, more creativity, instead of just, oh, this is how these people got here. But X-Men First Class really takes that and really bends it to its core. I think that X-Men First Class is a pretty good movie. I had issues with it, sure, but First Class is just a movie that I really enjoyed as a whole. It was a little too long, if we're being honest, and a lot of the side characters, they really didn't need to be here. But overall, as you're watching this, you sit back, and if you watch the original 3 first, which I did, then you sit back and you're like, so that's how they did that. That's how they do that. And it's not like one of those movies that just throws away the continuity. It's not just like, oh, continuity? Bye. No, it keeps the continuity, and it makes sense in this universe. Makes sense how they got here. The vibe of like a 90s action style movie, that's really fun. I just really had a blast with this movie. It's not perfect. It's not my favorite X-Men movie by far, but I just really enjoy First Class, and I really need to get on to watching Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. That's the other one, right? Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, because I do like these characters. I do want to see more of them. This is just, I think that will be the weaker of this trilogy. Doesn't matter. I still really enjoyed it. Then the next night after that, I watched M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. I almost said The Shining. The Happening. I'm not an M. Night fan. I actually do not like his movies most of the time. The Happening was kind of like his return to form for me. I really liked The Happening. I had issues with it. Hands down, I had some major issues. We don't know why this is happening. They just blame it on some plants. It's just stupid. It's got terrible acting all around. But that doesn't mean I didn't have fun with this one, because I had so much fun with The Happening. I think this movie is hands down hilarious, hands down great, hands down awesome. Not only does it not actually capture the vibe of an apocalypse really well, I feel like something's going down. I felt the danger. I just really like that vibe and really like the kind of style he went here. He didn't go for a big extravagant twist to push everything on its head that just have to mark the end of the movie. No, he went for simple, straight story. And sure, it doesn't really explain what's actually happening there. That doesn't matter. Because to me, I think it does what it does really particularly well, and I really enjoyed this one for that. It's probably, I think it's in my top 3 M. Night movies, if we're being honest, because I just had fun watching this one. I never thought like, oh, this is boring, let me get on my phone. I never thought what it is. Every time I watch an M. Night movie that's not The Sixth Sense or Visitors, that's not the name of the movie, Signs. Every time I watch Visitors, no, quit saying Visitors. Every time I watch A Sixth Sense or Signs, I love those movies. This gave that vibe and really proved that M. Night does have the chops to make a great movie. I didn't think this was great. I really did enjoy it, though, as a whole. Odd one here. It's a Scooby-Doo movie. We got Scooby-Doo, Pirates Ahoy. And this was a movie that I was just sitting down, eating lunch. Normally, my family, because normally me, my brother, and my mom, we sit down and we watch Scooby-Doo while we eat lunch while my dad's at work. And so we couldn't find a show we really wanted to watch. And so I turned on Pirates Ahoy, and then I had to go to work. So I went home that night and I turned on Pirates Ahoy and I watched the whole thing through. And there's flaws 100% with this movie. This mystery doesn't all the time make sense. But gosh darn it, I had a blast with this movie. I've seen it. This is my whole childhood. Every time I sit down and watch this, I'm like, oh, the nostalgia. I feel like crying every time I watch this movie because it brings me back to my great memories as a child. It really works. This movie is just amazing for me to watch personally. I literally watched this movie every day as a child because I loved it so much. Not only is it the only Scooby-Doo movie that really kind of creeps me out, it still creeps me out today. This was basically my introduction to horror, and what made me a massive horror fan was this movie. The nostalgia works. Everything about this movie works. Besides the mystery, I sat back and I was like, yeah, this definitely has some flaws as a critic, but gosh darn it, I enjoyed this one. Also, this movie freaking kills it. This movie is hands down incredible. Then we got a couple of Rocky movies that I watched in preparation for Creed 3, and it's, first off, we got Rocky 5. Rocky 5 is, I liked Rocky 5 in a way. It's definitely not the best, and it was at the bottom of my list of the Rocky movies because this movie is the most flawed of all the Rocky films. Hands down, the most flawed out of all of them. But, I did have some fun with it. And compared to the next Rocky movie, this movie is fun. Sure, it doesn't really make sense at times. It ends with a street fight. Like, what were the writers thinking making this movie? But it's easily watchable. It's easily enjoyable. I liked certain elements about it. Sure, I felt really annoyed every time his family was on screen. And it really was like, the movie kind of reminded me of like Shazam, you know, the one with Shaquille O'Neal. That goofy movie. The movie reminded me of that just because of the sound cues and everything that kind of happened along the way. It's pure 90s cheese, but that's okay, you know, because I enjoy pure 90s cheese. It didn't work with number 4 for me. This movie totally worked to its advantage. I had fun watching this movie. It was enjoyable to watch, but not the next one's not enjoyable. Rocky Balboa I didn't like Rocky Balboa. I thought that movie was severely, severely weak. I just really couldn't get into it. The first act is incredible. Hands down, emotional journey for the characters. It's very fun. It's pretty funny, if we're being honest, with some of the jokes land. But the more we go on, the more we get into this movie, it just turns dark, depressing, and doesn't feel like a Rocky movie. It doesn't feel like the inspirational sensation that the Rocky franchise is. In all reality, it just feels like another boxing movie. It feels overly dark, overly depressing, and I just sat back and was like, I can't get into this. And then we end with a final fight where instead of just seeing them trade blows, it's flash, flash, flash. And it just kind of gave me a trippy sensation to where I was just like, okay, alright, I've had enough of this movie. I couldn't get into this movie. Way too dark, way too depressing for me. And that's unfortunate because I was really looking forward to this movie after watching Rocky 5. And it just did not work for me. Hands down, my least favorite out of all of the Rocky movies. Then we got Shotgun Wedding. Last 3 movies that I watched in February, we had Shotgun Wedding. And this is a movie that was on my watch list in January. But like I said, Barbarian, you got to get in the mood for this movie. And I got in the mood for this movie. And hands down, this is my favorite subgenre of all time. Die Hard, but in a different place. This movie was absolutely fun. The jokes land. Jennifer Coolidge, freaking amazing in this movie. I felt she was hilarious. The rest of the cast pretty good. Justin Ball, I could have used Ryan Reynolds in that role. Ryan Reynolds would have been awesome, but he did good enough. Jennifer, pretty good as well. The action was pretty good. I did feel a bit disappointed at first. I was like, the kills should have been better, but along the way, I was just like, yeah, that got fun. There was one kill where they tossed up a grenade and hit it with a baseball bat and went far and blew up this guy, and that was really fun. And then the way the final guy died was he got spun in a helicopter and there's blood everywhere. I thought the movie should have been more violent till that, and then I was like, whoa, okay, I'm loving this. It's just fun. It's energetic to watch. This is a movie that I just really enjoyed, and it's number 2 on my list. I did put Creed 3 in front of this one because Creed 3, I really did like Creed 3. I just had my issues with it. This movie has to be probably the most fun I've had watching a movie that released this year. Speaking of 2023 movies, I also watched another one right after that, or not right after that, but like a week later. I checked out the movie, Your Place or Mine. I forgot the title of it for a minute. Your Place or Mine. And overall, I thought that was just like a mediocre rom-com. It was enjoyable. It was fun to watch. It's just like a movie that's there. And that's okay. We can have movies that are there sometimes. It's okay. It's a good movie. It's enjoyable. Sure, as we get to the end, we don't really need to have a romance. We don't really need to have all that. I just enjoyed myself watching this movie, and I think it's a pretty fun little time, and I don't really got much thoughts on it. Besides the fact that I enjoyed the cast, I had fun watching with my brother, which is a movie that's there. But the third act gets a little weak. It has more issues than not, but it's a fun movie. And going on from that, we got to move on to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and how there should be no flipping reason that Quantumania should be worse than those 2 movies. Quantumania should have been better than Shotgun Wedding and Your Place or Mine. But it's not. It's below each of those. Why? Because I had more fun watching those than I did Quantumania. I am 100% going through MCU fatigue right now. MCU movies are the same things over and over and over again. Hero gets into trouble. Some stuff goes down in the middle. That's the most energetic part. Then big CGI battle. Okay, let's sit down for half an hour and watch another big CGI battle. It just gets old. It gets boring of watching the same thing over and over again. The Ant-Man franchise. This movie works when it does what the Ant-Man franchise does best. But you know what? The Ant-Man franchise is not really relevant here. It's another big MCU movie. Sure, I love Kang. Hands down, love Kang. I cannot wait for more Kang. But the movie does exactly what the rest of the MCU movies do. And there goes a truck just passing my house. But anyways, this movie just does everything that other MCU movies do. And instead of being a normal Ant-Man movie, it's just like, oh, we gotta save the world. And I just sat back. I'm kind of sick and tired of this. That severely disappointed me. It's one of my least favorite movies of the year. It's already probably one of my most disappointing movies of the year. It just really didn't do what the Ant-Man movies were. I have faith in James Gunn movie, but the rest of the movies I'm not really excited for if it's going to be the same thing. We need more uniqueness, Marvel. I'm tired of the same stuff over and over and over again. It just gets really old. And plus, they defeated Kang by having like an ant go chew on his arm, and then bam, he explodes because MODOK all of a sudden is told to quit being a dick, and he's like, I'm going to quit being a dick. Okay, terrible writing. What are they thinking making this movie? It's just so bad. Stuff that they did is absolutely freaking inexcusable. It's just like, I walked away from this one severely disappointed. Like, wow. Now it's time to get into my haul. We're just going to go through everything I picked up this month, movie-wise. For action figures, I just picked up a couple DC Multiverse. They're all Batmans. They're all in my studio right now, and to get them to show them, I'd have to take down my whole studio. So I just got a couple of Batman DC Legends for action figures, but I do got a lot of movies and Blu-rays. Let's get started with the first one on this list, and this is the only one that's over here. I have the rest over here. It's a DVD because I could not find the Blu-ray of James Gunn's Slither. This is a movie that I've really been looking forward to checking out for the longest time now, especially because I am a big horror fan. I've heard this movie is extremely creepy, and I do plan on doing a ranking of the James Gunn films either on this channel or my second channel. I don't know how it's going to play out once his new film, Guardians 3, comes out, but I do need to watch this one and his other films super so I can rank those. This is a movie that looks creepy. Just look at this. A bunch of snakes or whatever the heck those are. Looks hands down terrifying, crazy. It looks like just can be a fun, campy action movie, horror movie that I'm really excited for. It is, I think this is like James Gunn's first directed movie. I don't remember what year it came out, but it's definitely going to be a fun movie. Then we got Spiral. Spiral from the Book of Saw. This is a Saw movie, and I already have the films in the collection. I just got this one for Valentine's Day, so I do have the Soul DVD. I saw one Saw movie. If you watched my last one of these videos, you know it is not Spiral. It's Jigsaw. This is a movie that I am looking forward to, though it's got to do something special, because Jigsaw is just like, I could just tell it's another one of the Saw movies. So this one, not super excited to see it, especially because I'm not that big of a fan of the Saw movies based off the one I watched. If they're all the same, I don't really look forward to watching the whole franchise. But there's a new Saw movie coming out, so I will have to watch all these. Spiral might be one that will be more fun for me to watch. Moving on. This is a big one. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. My favorite animated movie from last year. The more I think about it, the more I absolutely love it. This is hands down a fantastic movie. Fantastic story, fantastic comedy, fantastic everything. This is one of the rare movies that I would just flat out give an A+ every day. This is easy to watch. It's funny. It's cute. The animation is fantastic. It's probably the best animated movie since Into the Spider-Verse, and I will stand by that. I haven't rewatched it yet. As you see, I haven't even opened it yet. The moment this came out, you know me, I would have to pick this one out, because The Last Wish is just an absolutely shockingly great movie that nobody expected to be as good as it is, and it's just a perfect all-around movie. The voice cast is great. Florence Pugh, nobody even knew she was in this movie, and then she was. Hands down, fantastic performance there. Moving right along, if I can get that out of the bag. And I did go to V-Stock to get these, and I kept the V-Stock bag this time, so I know which ones I picked up this month. We got the Pitch Perfect trilogy, and I do plan on watching these. I was going to go see Cocaine Bear, but that's not going to happen. I'm just going to wait for it to go on streaming. So I do plan on at least watching Pitch Perfect 2, so I can do a ranking of the Elizabeth Banks movies once that comes out. I'm not super excited to see these. I'm not that huge big on musicals. I like In the Heights. I love Music Man. I love In the Heights. Those are the ones that are kind of special to me. For this one, not super excited to watch them, but my brother wants to check them out, so we'll check them out together. Pitch Perfect 2 is the one that I'm more excited for, because it is the one directed by Elizabeth Banks, but I've heard that one's not as good as 1. And a bunch of people are saying that the first Pitch Perfect movie is amazing. So who knows? Maybe I will walk away loving them. Moving right along, just going to bring a little stack over here. We got Jake Gyllenhaal and, what's the director's name? Antoine Fuqua. I always forget his name, but I know who he is. I know what he makes. Southpaw. So, when you're in a mood for a boxing movie, you're in a very specific mood for a boxing movie. And so, I picked up this. I'm going to leave. I got one more in here. And I have The Fighter somewhere over here. The Fighter is right here. I have The Fighter right here. And so, if I'm in the mood for a boxing movie and I want to watch something that I haven't already seen, I'm definitely probably just going to click on Southpaw, Warrior, or The Fighter. Some boxing movies I want to see. I saw the trailer for this. It looks good. It looks like it might not 100% be my style, but it looks like a good enough movie. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I like Forrest Whitaker. I like Rachel McAdams. So, this might be a good movie. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure about boxing movies in general, besides the Rocky franchise. I'm not sure how much I'll love those. But Southpaw is a movie that I do have to check out, and I do plan on doing like a top 10 boxing movies somewhere down the line. Right now, they would all be Rocky, all the Rocky movies. There's only 9 of them. But then we got Child, or Chud, whatever this movie is. I got this because it's an Arrow video. I have never heard of this movie, but reading about it, it's very freaking weird. And Chud, look at all these creatures. This looks like a movie that would be made for me, that I will 100% enjoy. And there's this place called Planet Overstock that's basically, if stores overstock things, they will buy them and sell them for way cheaper. So this one was only 16 bucks. My first Arrow video, interesting sounding movie. I will have to check this one out down the line. It looks really messed up, really fun. Looking forward to that one. Then we got Glass. M. Night Shyamalan's Glass. And this movie, only one of this trilogy that I've seen was Split. I did not like Split at all. Not really sure how I like the rest of this franchise. I know that I really like Unbreakable. Not sure how I think about Glass, if it's like Split. The Split was really good for the first 2 acts, then it just went way off the rails in the 3rd act. If that's kind of what this movie is, I do got a nervousness for it. Every time I sit down for an M. Night movie, I always just have this sense of nervousness that I'm forced to have because I really just don't trust this guy as a director. I don't really trust him with this movie either. You were talking about this earlier. Warrior. It's another boxing movie that I've heard was really good. Heard was some people's favorite boxing movie of all time. Obviously got to check it out. I'm not really sure though. It looks a bit dark to me. I like boxing movies to be inspirational, not dark. This one does look like it will be a good time, however. I'm not really sure what I'll think of it. I'll have to check it out. Like I said with Southpaw, I'll have to check it out and do like a top 10 top 10 boxing movie down the line. Getting into another chunk of it. Something I wanted to pick up, but then I saw it at V-Stock, had to purchase it. The Fast and Furious 20th Anniversary Steelbook. I am a big fan of this movie. People say that's one of the weaker ones. I think that this one's going to be close to number 1, and I'll take that to the grave. When I watch this one, I think it's just a solid racing movie, solid characters, solid interesting thoughts. I really think that this movie is really good, so obviously I had to get the Steelbook. It's a really cool Steelbook. The inside is really cool. 20th Anniversary Edition. When I first saw this come out, they were at Walmart, and I was like, I'm buying this. I didn't have a job then, so I didn't have money. And my mom was like, nah, you're going to put that back. I'm like, come on, Mom, I want it. And then I went back to the store, and they never had it again. So I was really, really disappointed. And so then I went to the store, and I saw they have the Fast and Furious 20th Anniversary Edition Steelbook. Yeah, of course I'm going to pick it up. I love this movie. It's quite a find. I'm happy that I found that one. Then we got Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the One Harley Quinn. I saw this movie a while back, I think in like early 2020, mid 2020, and I think this movie is surprisingly solid. It doesn't feel like it goes for like the girl power, except in the beginning. It's got an interesting look at the story. Black Mask is a great villain. this is just one that I really enjoy. I have to have it because if I'm ever going to rewatch the entire DCEU, I gotta watch this one. This one is a very fun movie that is easily rewatchable. Very fun, very funny. It's just a fun, all-around good time of a movie is that one. And it's definitely one that's overhated, that's for sure. I really enjoy watching that movie. And final 3 here. Well, and then we got a CD that I'm going to talk about. Because I want to start talking about music on this channel. Not sure how I'm going to do that, though. I'm working on it. Lady in the Water, like I said with M. Night movies, I'm always just a little nervous for it. But this one I'm fairly excited for. I always seem to enjoy M. Night's older movies. I enjoyed like we were talking about earlier, I like The Happening. So this one sounds like it has an interesting premise. Sounds like it has a good premise that I am looking forward to. I heard this one's very boring, though. And if it's boring, I'm not going to like it. They need to capture the vibe. They need to make this a fun enough movie. But it's M. Night, and so I always, again, have my worries for this one, especially for this one. Because Lady in the Water, if it's boring, then I'm gonna get bored. That's what happened with the old movie. It was so boring. And so I just sat back and I was like, how can the movie end? And then I was like, oh, finally it ended. To where I was nearly half asleep on that one. I really don't want there to be another boring at night movie. And I haven't checked out Knock at the Cabin yet. I hope it comes to Peacock very soon. Big one here, Overlord. It's a directed by Julius Avery. He directed Samaritan, which I wasn't that big of a fan of. But Overlord is a movie about people killing Nazi zombies. Nazi zombies. How can I ignore this one? The producer is J.J. Abrams. The cast here is pretty good. Wyatt Russell in here, so of course I'm going to like it because I really like Wyatt Russell. This just looks like a good time. I believe it's only like, what? It's a little less than 2 hours, so it might just be a short, sweet, fun action movie about killing Nazi zombies. We need more random movies like this. This one looks really fun to watch, and I had to pick it up when I saw it. And then in one more movie, Candyman. Like, as you see here, it's $3.99, or else I would just watch it on Paramount Plus. But went ahead and picked it up because it was $3.99. With the Candyman franchise, I'm not really all that into. I wanted to see this movie when it first came out. Never got around to doing it. And so, then I saw it on here. I'll have to check this one out and do a Candyman ranking later this year. This one I heard was more interesting than anything. But it just looks freaking creepy to me. And if they nail the vibe there, I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy it. And it's produced by Jordan Peele. I don't know how people don't love that movie. I really hope I love it, though. Then, the last thing on our haul is they were running a sale at V-Stock. I needed something. They didn't have any of my favorite band CDs until I stumbled upon Master of Puppets. Metallica. Big Metallica fan. I really like them. Their newest song, pretty solid. Not great as old Metallica. But I had to pick up the Master of Puppets album. It's just that good of an album, I think. Master of Puppets was my introduction to Metallica. I'll always love that song. I'll Take It to the Grave as the best Metallica song. So I had to pick up this album. Alright. Let me tell me down below, what did you guys watch this month and what did you pick up? Go ahead and subscribe to my main channel. I got a couple videos coming. I was going to go see Scream 6 today, and then I walked into the theater, and they're like, and even though my mom was in there and told them that she was letting us watch it, we can't watch the movie unless there's an adult there. Okay, I'm 17, whatever. I mean, I wasn't going to go and watch it without my brother, so we had an adult. We'll go Wednesday, and so, looking forward to that. I'm going to have Scream content coming up. I'm going to have Rocky content coming up. I got a bunch of videos coming. With that said, make sure to subscribe to my main channel, Zachary Movie Chat, and this channel to join the Nerd Army. Peace out.